from trade to territory.
Hello explorers, I am Captain Compass. Today, let's travel back to the 15th century. European sailors were searching for new routes to Asia to earn more profit through trade. Then, in 1498, Vasco da Gama of Portugal discovered a sea route to India. But trade wasn't their only goal. They also wanted power. Over time, the English East India Company grew stronger, especially after conquering Bengal, and slowly expanded its trade and territory across India. Before the Battle of Plassey, a tragic incident deeply shocked the British. In 1756, after capturing Fort William in Calcutta, the troops of Siraj-ud-Dowlah confined 146 British prisoners inside a small dungeon room for the night. When the door was finally opened the next morning, 123 prisoners had died due to suffocation. This heartbreaking incident became known as the Black Hole Tragedy. The event created anger among the British and further increased tensions between the British and the Nawab of Bengal. Explorers, our journey now takes us to one of the most important events in Indian history, the Battle of Plassey. In 1756, Aliwardi Khan passed away and his grandson Siraj-ud-Dowlah became the Nawab of Bengal. At that time, the British were already growing more powerful in India. Siraj-ud-Dowlah was unhappy with their increasing influence and decided to take action. Determined to stop them, he attacked the British settlements in Calcutta and captured Qasim Bazar and Fort William. But the British were not ready to give up. Robert Clive quickly returned and regained control of Calcutta. Soon after, a treaty known as the Treaty of Alinagar was signed in February 1757. However, the tension between the two sides continued to rise. The British then captured Chandranagore, a French settlement, and began preparing for a much bigger conflict. Finally, on the 23rd of June 1757, the famous Battle of Plassey was fought between the East India Company and Siraj-ud-Dowlah. Robert Clive led the British forces to victory. After this battle, the East India Company gained enormous wealth from Bengal and used it to build a stronger army. The Battle of Plassey became a major turning point in Indian history. What began as a trading company was now transforming into a political power. In fact, this battle marked the beginning of British rule in India, a rule that lasted for nearly 200 years. Battle of Buxar, 1764. After their victory in the Battle of Plassey, the East India Company became even more powerful in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. They received special trading rights and gained control over new territories. But not everyone was happy with the growing British power. Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Bengal, soon became angry because the British were misusing their trade privileges and interfering in local affairs. Determined to challenge them, he shifted his capital to Mongear and began preparing for war. However, after facing defeat, Mir Qasim formed an alliance with Shuja-ud-Dowlah, the Nawab of Awadh, and the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Together, they decided to fight against the British East India Company. Finally, on the 22nd of October 1764, the famous Battle of Buxar was fought. Once again, the British East India Company emerged victorious under the leadership of General Hector Munro. After this battle, the company gained even greater control over Bengal and nearby regions. Important treaties were signed and a new system called the dual system of government was introduced. The Battle of Buxar further strengthened British power in India and became another major step in their transformation from traders into rulers.
இது போன்ற பாட வீடியோக்களை மேலும் பார்க்க நம்ம ஃப்ரீ ஹேண்ட்ஸ் லேர்னிங் ஹப் சேனல்ல சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. எங்க ஃப்ரீ ஹேண்ட்ஸ் சாஃப்ட்வேர் பை பண்றதுக்கு ஸ்கிரீன்ல தெரியுற இந்த நம்பருக்கு கால் பண்ணுங்க.